Hello there, welcome to the Football Bloc. My name is Brandon. Today we're going to look back at the opening game of the 2023 Gold Cup, which ended in a 1-1 draw between the United States and Jamaica. So if that sounds interesting, then let's dive right into it.
One step beyond.
So the 2023 Gold Cup has officially started, and we start off today with a 1-1 draw between the holders and, of course, the host, the United States, against Jamaica, who in many ways are a dark horse for this tournament here. And overall, starting off from the beginning of the game, I thought that the U.S. should come away with a win. Obviously, they are the favorites in this particular match. That being said, the U.S. was heading into this match with essentially a C squad. There really isn't many starters in this team besides, Matt Turner. You can argue DeAndre Yedlin, possibly. He's sometimes a starter. Besides that, there's not many other starters in there. It's mostly youth players or fringe players. Now, I personally, I don't really like this idea of sending basically a backup team to the Gold Cup. I understand that you just had the Nations League and these players are coming off of a very taxing season, but this is a serious piece of silverware. This is the North American equivalent to the Euros and the Copa America and the Africa Cup of Nations, Asian Cup, etc. So it's a very serious tournament, or at least it should be taken seriously, and yet United States, we're not the only ones. Mexico and Canada are also bringing a team that, maybe not is a C squad, but they're leaving out a lot of their biggest players here. Even a few other teams as well besides those two. But Jamaica, on the other hand, brought a full squad. They brought their A squad, and they also have a lot of very interesting players and very talented players. For example, Mikel Antonio, Leon Bailey, a lot of these guys that are half or that are English, but then they're of Jamaican ancestry, and they declared that they're going to play for the Jamaican national team. And then of course you have guys that have been with this Jamaican team for a long time, whether it be Bobby Reed or Lawrence, or of course Andre Blake, one of my favorite players that one of my most favorite players. Absolutely amazing goalkeeper, arguably the best goalkeeper in CONCACAF at the moment. Hot take, but at the moment I would argue that. Now, the way that the game started off, it's Jamaica actually came out on the front foot, in my opinion. It's very, very interesting lineup. I think the U.S. seemed a little timid. Jamaica actually opened the score with a goal from Lowe in the first half, beginning of the first half, off of a free kick there. Very good header. Yeah, poor defending from the U.S., but Jamaica was able to capitalize off of that. Jamaica was almost able to double their lead. They got a penalty, but Matt Turner, who it's his birthday today, by the way, was able to come up with a very good save, and then Leon Bailey missed the rebound. And side note here to focus on Leon Bailey. I mean, it's funny because this guy was insane for Bayer Leverkusen just a few years ago. He's been okay with Aston Villa, not hitting those heights again, but still, he's a very, very talented player. And there was all this buzz about trying to get him to Jamaica, and yet it just really hasn't worked out. I mean, the last two Gold Cups he was there, he didn't really do anything. I know one of them he was coming into with an injury, but still, he hasn't really done anything for just Jamaica team. Today was his day to, finally quell all those criticisms that he gets, but instead he didn't really have to do that much in this game. I have to be honest. He didn't really light up the stage or anything like that. Some of the other players, I think Mikel Antonio overall was okay, not amazing, but okay. He's had some good moments for this Jamaican national team, though. But as the game went on, the U.S., I felt, grew into it more. For example, Jordan Morris should have equalized 1-1, but Andre Blake came up with an absolutely amazing save. It was, an inch-perfect save, stopped it from equalizing the score 1-1 right before halftime. Then into the second half, BJ Callahan, who is still the interim manager and who, in my opinion, I think we probably should keep instead of recalling for Greg Berhalter, but that's a whole other discussion. He made some changes. Some new players came on. Mikhailovic, Roldan, who, Roldan I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think in this game he had his impact, even if he didn't have the best game, was overall positive for the team. And Brendan Vasquez as well came on, and U.S. got closer and closer to scoring, but still, it didn't really seem like the U.S. was really creating any serious chances. It was U.S. would get into good positions, a good cross would come in, but that final ball, whether it be that final pass or the shot, it just was very lacking. And that's a problem with this squad. I mean, the defense, for the most part, is fine. I think that we defended well in this game. The midfield is okay, but up top, those who are supposed to be putting the balls in the back of the net, who's going to put the ball in the back of the net? I thought Jesus Fajeda, I did not think he had a good game today. Even though his cross ultimately led up to the equalizer, in which we'll get onto in a bit, I think that he just didn't really do much overall. I mean, what do you expect from a player like that? No disrespect to him. I think he's very good in the MLS, but he shouldn't be starting up top for the United States national team. As I said before, the U.S. was able to get an equalizer very, very late on with only a few minutes left. Jesus Fajeda crossed the ball in, and it deflected off a Jamaican defender. Brendan Vasquez was in the right place at the right time, was able to stab home the equalizer. Very good finish from him. And the U.S., like I said, was able to equalize, but it was, for the most part, a very, very lucky equalizer. And even though you can argue the U.S. had more possession, they had more shots, they had better chances, but it wasn't like the U.S. completely outplayed Jamaica. I thought for the most part, Jamaica defended well. They did good to get that one early goal. And, I mean, if Leon Bailey scores that penalty, I don't think the U.S. Get away with a point here. So, heading forward, though, I think the U.S., for the most part, should be able to top the group. The next two games are very, very winnable. But it'll be very interesting to see, on the other hand, Jamaica, as they go on, as the team gets better, as they learn how to play as a team more, because that's the biggest problem with this team. They tend to have a lot of very talented players, especially these guys that are English that are, declaring to play for Jamaica. A lot of them are very talented, but for the team to mesh together, it really hasn't worked. But now they have the new manager who's from Iceland, who previously coached the Icelandic national team at Euro 2016 and World Cup 2018. Maybe this will be the time for them. And like I said before, for all the other big teams aren't really bringing their A squad, with the exception of maybe Panama. And I think if you just compare the two teams on paper, I think Jamaica has a much more talented squad than Panama. So that being said, though, Panama they could be a bit of a dark horse, so watch out for them. But let me know what you thought of this game. Do you think that Jamaica deserved the win? And do you think that USA deserved the win? Who do you think should start up front for the USA within this squad? And how far do you think Jamaica is going to go in this tournament? But anyway, guys, my name is Brandon. Hope you guys have a nice rest of your night.
One step beyond.